Okay, let's just picture your sales dashboard for a second. A new promotion just went live, and honestly, it looks like a massive success. Your conversion rate jumped, your customer acquisition cost fell, and your revenue spiked. You sold twice as many units as last week. Naturally, everyone on the team is high-fiving and, updating their resumes with their new growth hacking skills. It feels great, right?
But then the promotion ends, and the hidden failure completely reveals itself. Those customers, they completely disappear. There's no second purchase. There's no renewal, no referral, absolutely nothing. So what do you do to get revenue back up? Well, you run another promotion, and then another. You might be tempted to call this growth, but it's really an illusion. You aren't actually growing. You are just repeatedly buying another first sale, month after exhausting month.
If you caught our previous explainer, you might remember we established that a sale is not proof that your marketing actually worked. Well, now we're extending that exact principle. A first sale is not proof that the customer relationship worked. That first transaction, it only establishes that someone was willing to test the exchange. It is definitely not the economic finish line. So this actually brings us to a really vital distinction: transaction growth versus customer compounding. If every single new sale has to be bought again from scratch, you are stuck in this exhausting cycle of just extracting transactions. True customer compounding, on the other hand, happens when relationships actually build upon themselves. It creates a powerful economic loop rather than just a one-off event. Let's step onto what we call the discount treadmill and see exactly how it destroys your compounding revenue. It starts innocently enough, right? You discount to buy that first sale. But that immediately shrinks your margin. Less margin means less money to reinvest into creating genuine extra value for the customer. And without that extra value, your customers have literally no reason to return. Since they don't come back, you're forced to acquire more new customers just to survive, which throws you right back into even more discounting. To break out of this treadmill, we have to completely reframe how we think about profit. Margin is not greed. Margin is fuel. It's the strategic fuel required to finance better delivery, better systems, specialist training, automation, dedicated support, and continuous improvements to the customer experience. Without margin, you can't upgrade your capability. You can only survive. But, and this is absolutely crucial, high margin doesn't automatically mean high customer value. You could just have exploitative pricing. Margin only becomes strategically useful when you can answer the reinvestment question. What capability did this money actually finance? Did it reduce customer effort? Did it increase reliability? Did it accelerate their time to value? Or maybe strengthen your proof? When you're reinvesting that margin, you've got to distinguish between extra activity and real extra value. Adding more internal meetings, bloated software features, or sending 5 extra just checking in emails, that's just extra activity. It helps literally no one. Real extra value means the customer actually experiences faster results, less effort, better reliability, and lower risk. Which really leads us to the ultimate question you have to ask of your business. Why should this customer choose us again at the normal price? Think about it. If there is no strong answer to that, you are likely depending on temporary discounting instead of genuine customer preference. So how do we actually measure that preference in the real world? We use the second sale test. After that initial purchase, just watch what they actually do. Do they buy again at full price? Do they hold out until your next promo? Do they just vanish completely? Or, better yet, do they voluntarily bring a friend? To track this behavior effectively, we look at the fan economic scoreboard. See, repeat economic behavior is one of the strongest business signals that the customer recognized enough value to continue the relationship. It's way stronger than passive social media likes because it requires them to make another actual economic decision. We watch the repeat purchase rate and the full price repurchase rate. We monitor retention and referrals. And notice how customer lifetime value is near the end there? You don't just create LTV in a spreadsheet. LTV is the natural outcome of giving customers repeated reasons to stay. Think about what happens if you discount constantly. You're accidentally training your market to game your system into a highly destructive behavioral loop. Wait, discount, buy, wait. You've essentially taught them that the normal price is just a dummy tax for the impatient, and they will purposefully delay purchasing until the next price drop. Now, don't get me wrong. Discounts themselves aren't inherently evil. They can be perfectly valid for trials, launches, or managing inventory. But every single promotion must have a specific strategic hypothesis. Something like, we believe this discount will achieve X. Because if you don't have a hypothesis, you aren't experimenting. You're just buying price dependency and shrinking the very margin you need to grow.
Let's put this into perspective. Imagine two different promotional cohorts. Promo A acquires the first sale incredibly cheaply, but it only yields an 8% repeat purchase rate and a tiny 1% referral rate. Promo B, on the other hand, has a higher initial acquisition cost, but a massive 32% repeat rate and an 11% referral rate. Promo A is what we call a false winner. Sure, it won the first transaction cheaply, but it entirely lost the downstream relationship. This brings us to the ultimate solution, the Margin-to-Fan Flywheel. This fundamentally shifts your business off that exhausting treadmill and into a compounding loop. Healthy margin allows you to reinvest. Reinvestment creates extra value. Extra value creates repeat purchases and retention, which, you guessed it, generates more margin to fund another round of improvement. This is exactly how you build an economic engine that runs on its own momentum. But we've got to be brutally honest with ourselves here. High retention only counts if it is voluntary. If a customer is locked in by painful data migration, confusing contracts, or just a total lack of alternatives, they aren't a fan. Let me be incredibly clear. A trapped customer is not a fan. A true fan is preference made visible through voluntary behavior.
This is exactly where we keep the flywheel honest, with a mechanism called the negative price ultra guarantee, or simply -1. It accelerates your business in two distinct ways. First, it completely reduces risk for qualified buyers. Second, if the promised value genuinely fails, the seller pays an additional economic penalty. It makes missing value economically visible and completely filters out those bargain hunters who don't actually want real accountability. When a -1 claim actually happens, it triggers a very specific failure branch. You don't blame the customer. Instead, you diagnose the systemic failure. Was it a targeting issue? A delivery failure? You correct the root cause, you retest, and you feed that improved capability right back into the top of the flywheel. Which means a zero refund rate isn't actually the goal here. Honestly, you can get zero refunds just by hiding your policies or intimidating your customers. The true goal is diagnosing claims to fix your scaling decisions. Claims reveal exactly where value goes missing. Fans reveal where value repeats. You absolutely must use both the negative and positive signals together to steer the business.
The ultimate real-world application of this whole standard is something called NegBook. It's actually the first book in the world with a negative price. It operates on a principle of absolute unbreakable accountability. Either you read the book and it helps you, or it literally pays you back. It ties the transaction directly to the actual outcome, proving without a doubt that you stand behind the extra value you claim to have created. You can actually apply this exact mindset to your own cohorts using the -1 diagnostic. This gives you a lens to examine your pricing, your discount structure, your reinvestment, and your claim behavior to discover the precise point where your customer relationship stops compounding. Because at the end of the day, the absolute cheapest first sale can often create the absolute weakest customer relationship. Healthy margin should always finance stronger customer value, and stronger value should create compounding repeat economics. So ask yourself today, are you actually building customers who voluntarily come back, or are you just buying another first sale every single month? Stop buying the first sale. Build a reason for the second one. Because once your customers start compounding automatically, what does the ceiling of your business actually look like?